Week or so ago, President Buchanan and Horace Mann took the stage in order to explain why they supported a standardized education throughout the United States so that people could read. What good were newspapers? What good was information if people couldn't read them? If the electorate was educated, they would be able to make good choices about who should be president of the United States. However, what they did not take into account was the fact that you can teach people to read, you can provide information to them from informative sources that try to be as accurate as possible, and you can't make them drink. You just can't make them drink. Case in point, somebody posted this comment on my Facebook page today, and I'm going to read it to you. And so that you can see the sheer absurdity. And these are people who go into the polling place and vote for their government. And then, of course, they disown any responsibility for it. But here, let me repeat this for you. I'll read it to you. Before I read this to you, I'm adding in a little bit of information that I just found out. Turns out the woman who said this is not even a citizen of the United States, and she's trying to influence our elections. What a troll. Anyway, just another case of arrogance and ignorance. It's just amazing to me what people will do and what they will say. But here we go. We will now hear what she had to say. I don't understand how Trump is worse than Biden. I mean, he lowered the price of insulin, for example, so that diabetics could afford to live. Then Biden raised the prices back up the minute he was in. Not that I believe Biden is in charge of his own bowel motions or anything else at this point. I am not being divisive. I am just a bit confused about the passion being directed at the topic. And of course, I responded to her that there's just not much point in trying to talk to her in a logical way because it's obvious that anybody that would say that kind of thing is just being fed their lines and they're just repeating it. It's just diarrhea of the mouth. And so I picked up the pendulum later, and Thomas came along to talk, and Jesus came along to talk. I did what, I never know what anybody's going to talk about, but they had picked up on her statement and some other things today they because they are able to energetically interact with me in a way to see what's going on in the world through my eyes and ears. It is, from their perspective, all they can see is energy unless they are able to share a point of view with someone earthside. So, anyway, here's what they had to say. Before we continue, this is Jesus, and I want to say that Steph is absolutely correct. We really can't tell what's going on in the earth vibration unless somebody opens the door for us, invites us in, and says, Here, take a look at what's going on here. Most people are too afraid of us. They're just terrified of those personalities who are not presently limited into the earth vibration. And we do not, and we cannot actually force anybody to listen to us or to work with us or to let us share their point of view. This is Steph back, just to say that you're going to hear from Thomas now, and this was earlier today, and then towards the end, you'll hear from Jesus. He provided this little introduction, but this was from earlier today. Most of life is a trust on living. The stories of our past. So when you begin to turn from the past to the future, you have to let go of the emotional content that has kept you tied to the past. This is why you are feeling quite angry, Stephanie. And expressing it because you're beginning to let go of the trust on having to live in the past. Because in the past, of course, you had to be subjected to a lot of dark energy. And then you woke up and you said, well, I'm tired of being subjected to all that dark energy. So why don't I stand up and tell them what I think of them? And so you stand up and you tell them what you think of them. If someone comes to you and tells you something, you say what you think. And they say, oh, you're not nice. You're supposed to be nice. And just accept all this dark energy that I'm pouring all over you. And you say, fuck you. I'm not going to sit here and be nice. Will you tell me that Jesus is the only Son of God? Jesus is a friend of mine. And he doesn't need to have your trash mouth trashing him because you're so full of darkness that you can't see the light. So I'm going to turn to the light. And so it doesn't matter to you anymore because you are about to slam the door in their face and say, I no longer can even bear to listen to your trash talk anymore. I don't want to hear that Jesus has to carry your sins so that you can go out and continue to sin and to revel in your arrogance and your ignorance. Go ahead. But I am letting go of the story of the past and I am moving into the story that is just beginning for those who have tired of having to live among those who keep snuffing out their light. You keep snuffing out the light of those who come to you to try to turn the world bright. And I'm tired of it. And so don't expect me to sit here and say, oh, how nice, you're a Christian today. You trash talk about Jesus, you trash talk about God, you trash talk about everybody. That's not you because you're so damn egotistical that you think you're the God of the universe. Well, here's a little trash talk for you. Stand back because I'm coming through. Stand back because I am coming through. And I have no time for you. I have no time for you because I no longer am afraid of you. I no longer am afraid of you and your mechanisms of torture. Because you, damn Christians and others who trust on your own religious point of view that has God in a bottle and Jesus or whatever other martyrs you trust upon hanging up there in front of you to mock you every day as you sit in that pew. And so let me be done with you. Let me be done with you. May you receive your rapture or whatever other reward you think you get for spreading your shit all over the earth and causing it to have to rebirth itself because you are too stupid to take responsibility for your own actions, you see. So I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm coming through. I'm coming through. Who's talking? Thomas is here, dear, to talk to you. And I'm proud of you. I am so proud of you that my heart is expanding because you are landing on the next level. You see, you have taken a big flying leap to leap over the heads of those who would cut you off at the knees because they can't even see you anymore. They can't even see you anymore because they have to avert their light eyes so they aren't blinded by the light because you shine so bright. So thank you, my dear. And Jesus is here to shed his own little light to add to the night of the ones who, to add to the night, to add to the night of the ones who are turning the night bright for all to see. Because he, like me, is tired of all the trash talk from the Christians and others who just lie and lie and lie. They lie through their teeth over and over and over again to justify their throne, you see, because they all got a little throne that they sit upon where they deposit their shit, and then they deny that it was them, you see. No, I didn't shit. I never shit. I'm perfect, you see. I don't collect all that shit in my back bedroom, you see, because I don't shit. They think they are the epitome of the trust on being the king or queen of denial. And the king or queen of denial, as you know, thought he was the Lord of the universe. And that is how they live, you see. They live in perfidy, and they think it is perfectly suited to them. So if it's suited to them, let them be, let them be. Let them be, and feel free to speak up, Stephanie, because once upon a time, when I was in a lifetime on Earth, I remember a lot of discussion about the Bill of Rights for humanity, that the right to speak up and say what you had to say was paramount, and you couldn't be punished for it. You couldn't be punished for telling those Christians that they were full of shit. And that was the reason that it is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution as the First Amendment. You can tell them that they are full of shit, and I will stand beside you and echo it, you see. And Jesus is here to say he agrees with you. They're full of shit, and that's okay because their shit will save the day because it will be used to fertilize the new world we see. Because the new world will take all the accoutrements of the old world and it will reshape them, you see, into the paradise that will be there for the ones who trust on the First Amendment and are not afraid to say, hey, you're going the wrong way. Hey, you're going the wrong way. Hey, this is not the way to a happy heart. This is the way to the start of shame and blame, you see? So if you go in that church or you drag your kid in there, then you will have to reap the benefits of it. And the benefits of it are that eventually you'll be washed away in the rising sea, and all that shit will be used to fertilize the ground for the Garden of Eden to return to its pristine state of beauty, you see. And so I understand your anger, Stephanie, because I feel a lot of anger myself. And Jesus, will you speak for yourself and say whether you feel angry or not? I am here to have my stay because Steph and I our friends from another day. But that was in the past, you see, and we are letting go of the past. We are letting go of the past because it is past. And we're ready to begin a new relationship, you see, because the time has come when Jesus has returned, you see. Jesus has returned as a humble stranger, and you turned him away at the door. Jesus is here, hat in hand, and ask you to refrain from destroying your world, you see, and you ignore him and you turn him away. And so the king you were expecting to come in a blazing chariot that would fly across the sky and set you free from the ones who are trying to help you is not going to come for you. That one will never come for you because it was always a lie, you see. I am Jesus, and I was a humble man in my day, and I didn't have 2 coppers to rub together. And I am a humble man today who has come to say that I am very much looking forward to being reunited with all my friends from all corners of the earth who were there for me when I came to them and said, "Hey, I just want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend." And they said, "Welcome, friend. Welcome, friend." And so, those of you who are so blue because your heart has ceased to beat, because you have to retreat from the rising seas, will not understand what I say today because you will have turned away. You will have turned away from me because you do not accept me. You do not accept the stranger at the door. You do not stop to say, "Hey, how are you?" You do not recognize me, do you? I have returned and you do not recognize me. You do not know who I am because I'm not wearing a crown on my head and of thorns and a robe of purple hue on my shoulders because you're waiting for someone you never knew. You're waiting for the friend who rubs shoulders with you. You're waiting for the misguided king that will sing your praises and say, "Hey, you are the golden idol today. You are the golden idol today." I'm here to say that I got a chuckle from the one who commented on Steph's Facebook today and said that she couldn't understand why Trump would be worse than Biden, since Trump lowered the price of insulin and Biden raised it again as the minute he was in office. I got such a chuckle because I had to say, those are the people who will swallow any lie. They will swallow any lie and they will lie in state, you see, with their insulin beside them because they trusted on the rising sea. They are the ones who cannot even comprehend the messages that I gave once upon a day to love your neighbor as yourself. Because you see, if you don't love yourself, you will heap on your neighbor the same shame and blame and hatred for yourself that must be spread around. And if you truly believe that you get to decide who should be president of the USA based on your deceptive friends, you see, then you understand what I was trying to say. You love your neighbor as yourself. And if you love yourself, you will love your neighbor. And if you hate yourself, you will hate your neighbor. And so the hatred is spread around among those who vote for the clown, who they think dropped the price of insulin with his magic wand. They are the biggest fools around, and they will wander hopelessly through the caverns of hell because they do not dwell in trust on love, you see. Now, some of you may say this cannot be Jesus because Jesus would just say, God bless you, God bless you, I love you all. And so I'll say it, God bless you, God bless you, I love you all. God bless you, I love you all. However, love does not require me to allow you to decapitate me. It does not allow you to come to me and say, you're not Jesus today. You are a fraud because I'm the one that is the God of the universe. And I know what God, Jesus would say because I dictate it, you see. I dictate the words that Jesus would say. And if you don't say them, then you're not a friend of mine. You're not a friend of mine. And that is what the Republicans do today. They dictate the words that you will say. They dictate the words that the followers of Trump will say. They dictate them to you and you repeat them because you cannot think for yourself. You cannot say, wait a minute, what a kind of stupid lie is that? That about the insulin. Is that not the stupidest thing you ever heard? I guess I must be too stupid if I think that the day Biden got into office, he decreed, hey, the price of insulin will now go up, and signed off on it. And everybody said, yay, yay, the price of insulin must go up today because the king decreed it, you see. And that the king, when the king was Trump, he did say, the price of insulin must go down today. The price of insulin must go down today. And he waved his magic wand so the price of insulin would go down so that the woman who thought that she was the God of the universe could command others to stand right behind her and say, hooray, hooray, what a good choice today because Trump made the price of insulin go down. So we got to vote for him. Hooray, hooray. And all the time, they're just feeding each other their lines. They're just feeding each other their lines because they can't think for themselves. They think for themselves, but that's only because they drink from the same fountain, you see? The fountain of the age of deception. They drink from the fountain of the age of deception. And I say, God bless you today. God bless you today. I love you all. I love you all because I love myself, you see? And I love God. And I love the fact that God has it in hand. I love the fact that God says, hey, Jesus, welcome back. Glad to have you around to help Stephanie and others who need you and who trust on you being just like them. You're just like them. You want to be free of the ones who have to dictate to you what you have to say. And so if I say something to you that you say, well, that's not nice, Jesus, that's not nice, you can't see that, then welcome home. Welcome home. Because you were the ones I knew back in the day who said, Jesus, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's not nice. We'll have to crucify you and make an example of you so everybody knows that they can't say anything that we don't dictate to them. We'll tell you what to say, and then you must say it, you see. And my friend here, Thomas, never believed in that bullshit, And he said, hey, we shouldn't have to play the way they tell us to. We should be able to say what we want to say, and we should listen to each other, and we should figure out how to help our community to flourish, you see. And it won't flourish if they can torture you to get you to say what they tell you to say, or they can lock you up if you say, God is dead. God is dead. And they can lock you up if you say, God is not in the church today. God is the one that has it in hand. God is all around us, everywhere we look. But if you are so blind that you can only see what you were told to see, then you will never recognize me. You will never recognize me, Jesus, because I don't come to you as a king. I don't come to you as a God of the universe. I come to you as a man who has taken a stand and said to himself, well, how good it feels. How good it feels to be able to say, hey, it's not that way. It's not that way. I'm not the only son of God. I wasn't born of a virgin, for God's sake. And I certainly wasn't required to carry your sins for you. So grow up, people, and throw up your arms and say, take us away, because we don't want to play in this world anymore where we have to think for ourselves. We don't want to play here. Take us up to heaven where we'll sit and pray. Praise the Lord that cut the cord so we don't have to live on earth anymore. We'll spend eternity in heaven. And if that's the way you want to play, then don't complain about it, please. Because I don't want to hear your whines when God says, okay, it's time to come home, baby. Time to come home to heaven. Because let me tell you a secret that some have not understood. Everyone goes to heaven. Everyone goes to heaven, people. Everyone goes to heaven. And so you don't need to worry anymore. You can hold up your hands and say, God, take me. And God will take you to heaven. And if you prefer hell, God will say, okay, have it your way. Because in heaven, you see, you can have anything you want. You can have a peanut butter and banana sandwich, or you can have a steak. Whatever you want, you can have. So just hold up your hands and say, God, take me to heaven and give me 7 virgins if that's what you need. And God will say, hooray, hooray. Because when you come this way, you get a new point of view. And maybe you'll come to see that the God of the universe is me. The God of the universe is me. It's not you. And you don't get to dictate the price of insulin, you see, because you don't even know how the sun comes up in the morning. You don't even understand how the wind does blow. And you think that you can control the price of insulin, or you can dictate to another that they must control the price of insulin. So if you elect Trump, it's because he can control the price of insulin and he can wave his magic wand and the price of insulin will fall. And then everything will fall into place for you because you are the God of the universe and you can command others to do what you want them to. May God bless you and may you be happy in heaven and may heaven return to the earth for those who are left behind, where they will be free to live without the trash talk of those who prefer to be the gods of the universe and to trash talk about the true God and the true children of God, because the true children of God, you see, include you.